Hey guys, doing a garden tour for early June to show you how my garden is progressing. And we've got the catmint that is still blooming beautifully. We've got this May night salvia that is towards the peak of blooming. Actually, those are too, so I'll have to come and cut these back in probably next week. And then we've got the rose campion that is looking absolutely beautiful and has lots of beautiful blooms on it. And then over here, I took out the barberry that I had here. I found that there were scale on it, and I've had scale on a lot of my shrubs, so I just wanted to get rid of it and not bring it into this garden bed. One of the things I'm going to show you in this garden tour is a lot of rabbit damage that I unfortunately have in my garden, and I've lost quite a few plants because of that. And over here is some evidence of that. They tried probably to eat this, but these are very fuzzy, like a lamb's ear, so they probably really hated this. And yeah, so left it alone. A couple of one leaf back there. Here are the Millennium Alliums, and they're starting to form little buds down at the bottom, and these will grow up and then bloom in the summer. I put in some delphiniums. These are winter sown, and I put 3 over here, and I put another 3 over here. Luckily, cross my fingers, rabbits have not touched this yet. And maybe it's only time, but let's hope that they don't. Over here I have a caged up cherry brandy rhododendron, and last year they decimated this, so I'm trying to keep it safe. I don't, it's kind of really fuzzy plant also, so they technically shouldn't eat it, but I'll keep it caged for a little longer. Then I have the yarrow here, again, far behind, and I think that maybe the rabbits are eating it because I think it should have put on quite a bit of growth by now, and that's the only thing I can think of. And the dianthus, I'm starting to see some buds on it. Not sure if the rabbits have been eating some of the buds also on this, but let's see if they'll come in a little bit. And let's see. I planted some of my winter sown bee balm, and so those are the 2 little ones. I had a third one in there, but I think it might be dying. I'm not sure. And then I added these Veronicas. I can't recall if I showed it in the last video, but I put these in here. And then I have a calendula that earlier today it was looking beautiful. It was wide open, gorgeous little, this one self-sowed from last year, and it's got just tons of buds everywhere, so that's looking beautiful. And then I have 3 calendulas over here, which I winter sowed and transplanted out here, and I do see a bud in the center of each of these, but again, afraid of the bunnies eating everything. These are the lavender. These are from my winter sowing last year, and they only had foliage last year, but this year it's just tons of buds on them, looking absolutely beautiful, and can't wait till they're in full bloom. The one back there from the box store is actually looking better, and now that some heat is coming on, I think this one will also catch up and be absolutely beautiful. Over here I have this is a Marcus sage. It's a salvia. The bunnies don't eat the salvia. I believe the salvia is from a mint family, so they don't generally like to eat this. It's too, I guess, smelly for them or something. Anyway, so this does really well here, as well as the Veronica, and I also have a hyssop over here. This one will throw up blooms in the summer as well, and it's just doing fantastic. they don't bother that either. I do have some hyssop that I'm growing from my winter sowing, and so I'll probably add some more in this bed. Then I have some more bee balm that I added in here. They don't eat the bee balm usually, I think, either. Also, I believe maybe from the mint family. So, but my sea thrift is not holding up too well. It keeps trying to throw up some flowers, but the bunnies, I think, are eating the little flower heads. So, I don't know. Some of these plants are going to have to go. Over here, I've got the snowcap daisies, and they are forming buds all over and looking beautiful. Now let's hope the bunnies don't eat all of the buds off of this plant. Then the leucanthus, rainbow leucanthus, I don't know. Anyway, this one's looking fantastic. It is done blooming, but the foliage is looking better. I'm very happy I moved it to this side. It's doing significantly better. Then I've got the endless summer hydrangea. This one is a little behind on the buds. I did have to cut it back, but I do see a few buds here and there. So I will have flowers. This one might be a little later than the other, but that's okay. We'll still have flowers. I'm curious to see, though, if they will be blue this year or pink. But this side, this hydrangea is doing so much better. This does get more sun, and it's actually starting to flower. So I am just so excited that the winter frost that we got in the spring didn't completely damage everything, and I will be getting some flowers. Again, I'm just waiting to see if they'll turn pink or if they will be blue this year. Back here, I have a ton of gladiolas. These are bulbs I put in last year, and I did not dig them up, and they came back. So I think they will live here as long as they keep coming back. My only issue is you'll see later on bunnies, but otherwise looking great. I do have a lily. This was one from last year, but it's looking really yellow. So either it's getting too much water or not enough iron, and I don't know. I'm just going to let it be for now, and because I will dig it up once it's done blooming and plant it somewhere else. That's not a good spot for it. And I have one back here too, and this one actually has a bud. So we'll wait till after they flower. And I've got two more back here that are caged up, and I might take off the cages off of that. Then I've got this St. John's wort, which is a dwarf shrub, and it has yellow flowers. It's a really pretty flower, and it's actually setting buds also. So this will bloom maybe in a week or two and look absolutely gorgeous. Here are the Veronicas that I had divided, and they're doing very well. And starting to show a few buds. Not too many. They're a little behind, again, probably because of the transplanting and settling and creating new roots from me very drastically cutting them apart. But they're doing really well and surviving, and yeah, they're going to look gorgeous. So over here, I'm having lots of struggles. Over here, I plan to put my zinnias that I've already started a bunch of seeds. I gotta pull out some weeds over here. I was going to put some sunflowers back there. I can only put them back there if I cage them up. I planted up this hyacinth bean plant, and as you can see, one of the leaves got munched on. I'm assuming it is the rabbit This hollyhock has been decimated. It's just got maybe a few teeny tiny leaves at the bottom. So I plan on popping this out of here and just putting something else. I'm just not going to grow hollyhocks. I'm giving up on hollyhocks. Just way too much damage, and I just can't continue to fight these rabbits and just how much they devour my plants. Same thing, I transplanted all of these cosmos, and I had a ton over here, and there's only 3 left. They've eaten all the other ones. I don't know how these 3 survived, but all the other ones are gone. I do have a few more starts inside on my deck, so I will probably see if I can grow those a little bigger and maybe put a few and cage them up. So this hollyhock here is enormous, and so down here, even though the rabbits have devoured, so many leaves were down here. I mean, look at the damage. They just leave everything all on the ground, all the stems, because they eat the leaves up. And but at least with this one, it's so big that it's already put on buds, and the top leaves will support this plant. So I'll get blooms on this one, and yeah, we'll see. I don't think I can have hollyhocks in here. Gladiolas, I planted a bunch, and they just keep eating my gladiolas also out here in this particular bed. It's something about the axis in this bed. I guess they're living nearby. They might be even under my deck for all I know. And so I caged up the 2 dahlias that I had planted back here just in case. I didn't want them eating it. But I also had over here, I had lupins. I had winter sown those lupins, and they're gone. I saw them just yesterday before the rain started. They were looking beautiful, and now there is this teeny tiny bit left. There's this one here, and there's a teeny tiny bit left there. Clearly I can't put lupins in my garden either. The rabbits like them way too much, so I don't know what I'm going to replace them with, but yeah, it's super frustrating, very disheartening. I spent so much time on my winter sowing, and just gone within a mere minute, I guess. And so the Gara is finally putting on some growth, and there are a few blooms here and there. These are sometimes also bothered by rabbits, and the clematis as well. And this one back here, I had removed the cage thinking, oh, it grew big enough. Well, that was a mistake because they ate it up. So I've got a few leaves at the bottom. I'm going to grab some chicken wire and put it sort of around the base over here and protect at least what's left there and give it a chance to grow. The other clematis is doing great, except for the offshoots in the back. The bunny has gotten to those, so we'll have to protect those. The straw flowers are doing great. They don't eat those. They haven't bothered with those. I guess they don't like them at all. But the sea thrift, whenever there's a bloom stalk, every single one has been munched, and they take and eat all the flowers. So I can't grow these flowers for the life of me, because by the time there's anything showing of a bud or a bloom, they will eat it. And it's another one that I may have to take out and figure out something else to put here, because the bunnies are just relentless, absolutely relentless. But over here I've got some dahlias, and they have all put on quite a bit of growth. These 3 days, next 3 or 4 days, we're going to have some super heat, and they'll put on even more growth. But the happy news is that the Penn Hill watermelon, it has green. We have green. I cannot believe that one tuber survived. So I actually was successful in storing that one out of all the other ones I stored. So at least there's one thing I was successful with. But yeah, so these dahlias are growing great. I did hit these with deer spray, hopefully deer and rabbit spray. Hopefully rabbits won't end up munching this. I'll just cry. I really will. Here's are more gladiolas that I planted in between the dahlias, a little too close to the dahlias. I didn't realize how close I planted that. Also been eaten by the bunnies. But yeah, just so much devastation. Here is a hollyhock. The storm that we just had sort of bent it over. So yeah, I could stake it up, but not. I don't think I'm gonna. I'm just gonna cut this bloom off. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this bloom off and let the see those two little ones down there. They'll put on some new blooms, and there's some blooms at the bottom. So we'll do that. And then this is a still bee that I bought last year at a nursery, and it's looking very nice. I'm not seeing buds. Again, I believe last year the rabbits just went nuts on the buds on this one too, even though these are supposed to be deer resistant, but we'll see. I think unless these are the buds right here for the flower. But this one is the bare root, the single bare root that's doing the best from my Walmart purchase. It's the best success, and now it finally has buds, and I am ecstatic. Now, I will be crying if once again these rabbits end up eating these buds. I will cry. Here is the foxgloves. They are in gorgeous, gorgeous bloom. I mean, these stalks are so tall. And these are taller than me, the ones in the back. They are amazing. They are a little bit leaning because we had a storm come through yesterday. So some of these stalks did get a little bent back, but my God, are these stunning, absolutely stunning. I did winter sow a few more, as well as 2 other varieties, and I'm going to fill my garden with foxgloves because they're not bothered. And by the way, there is a baby bunny. I'm going to try to zoom in. Can you see that little darling, cute little bunny who destroys my garden? Oh, I mean, they're so dang cute though. But my God, I need to figure out what to do. Like, can I grow something that they will eat and I can put it somewhere else where they can have their little meals and get out of my garden? I don't know. I mean, they are cute. I'm fuzzy and cute. I love them. I do. But I just don't want them eating my plants. I'd be happy to plant something somewhere else for them, but I just don't know what. Anyway, let's move on. Over here, luckily, the rabbits haven't eaten this yet. I planted some winter sown phlox, and it actually blooms with all this rain and whatnot. I didn't think they would bloom. And I also read that they could be eaten by rabbits. So we will see. I don't know if it's because it's near the foxglove. They may not come near it. But I also planted here some, I believe these are snapdragons. Yeah, we'll see if they flower, but that's surprising. I didn't come out here before, so I didn't know what was necessarily blooming. So happy with that. Can you believe this bunny is still there, munching away? Look at him. He's not even scared. Hello. Well, all right. So I'm going to pause this so that, wait for the bunny to move. I have a bunch of moss here. I've got two varieties. One is this dark green. I think this is the Irish moss. I forgot which one this one is, but you know what? I'll throw the names up. This one has some teeny tiny white flowers that are growing. Oh, it looks so pretty. And usually I do my fairy garden back here. I might not do it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it back here this year. But one of the things was I was trying to grow a nice patch to put a fairy garden right into the moss area. And it feels so soft. I love this. And this one is starting to throw up some buds. And then it got little blooms everywhere. This is the darker green. Also putting out a few blooms. But over here is the hydrangea. This is the lace cap hydrangea, the twist and shout. And the buds are forming even bigger. And the plant is getting bigger, especially with all the recent rain we had. They are doing fantastic. Absolutely love this shrub. I've got some foxgloves that are over here. They're having trouble growing because this shrub is getting in the way. But I didn't want to cut back this shrub because I actually have ladybugs who have made a home here. So right there is one that is cocooning, so turning into an adult. So I did spot a bunch of other ladybugs in here. That's because this shrub has aphids. Oh, there's one larva. Let's see if I can capture it. Okay, there's the larva right there. Oh, he is super fast. That one's really nice and big. That one probably turn into a ladybug soon. But yeah, so they're absolutely loving this plant because of the aphids, and I don't want to be cutting too many branches because I might get rid of some of them. The rose campion back here is just absolutely beautiful. So this is about a week or so ahead of the other one. It actually started blooming earlier than the ones in the front garden bed. Yeah, so these are looking fantastic. Not bothered, again, by deer or rabbits or pretty much almost anything. I think I might have had some mites towards the end of the season, but you can just cut it back and they'll come back. They're fine. And yeah, they do self-seed fairly easily, so I would say just be careful if you don't want a field of rose campion. You want to, make sure to sort of cut them back when they're done blooming and cut about a third of it. They'll rebloom again for you, and then just don't leave them to self-seed too much if you don't want them. But they are very easy to pull. So over here I've got the snow-cap daisies. On this side of the house we have the male hollies, and I had to chop them back severely. They have a really bad scale problem. I'm going to have them get treated, but I really took out a lot of the foliage that was really in bad shape, and hoping that I can get them on the mend. But yeah, the snow-capped daisies are fantastic from last year's transplants and also showing lots of buds. Some more snow-capped daisies. And back here I caged up the gladiolas. And these were probably the worst that got eaten up. Some of them really down to the ground. Just completely devoured. So over here the heucheras are looking beautiful, and this one is throwing up some beautiful buds. And then I've got this is one of the astilbes from Bare Root, and this one is the smallest one of the bare roots, but it'll grow in a little slow, but it'll grow in. New Guinea impatiens over here, and I divided up some hanging containers that I bought at Walmart. But I have some devastation over here of the coneflowers. These are the Echinacea powwows, and they were completely demolished. I caged it up because I took the cage off thinking it was safe because it was nice and big and had some buds on it. And in 2 days, just completely gone. And yeah, I am super sad about this because I grew a lot of coneflowers. This one I never took out of the cage, so it's okay in putting on growth. And this one is a bare root. But I'm going to dig these up. And I had started a bunch of them in my winter sowing, and they're looking great. They are putting on a lot of nice growth. And I was really looking forward to seeing the twist and shout coneflower. But if the bunnies are going to demolish this plant and I'm just not going to be able to grow it, I don't see why I'm going to keep fighting or keep putting cages everywhere. I can't. So the bunnies win. They're cute, they're fuzzy. I like the bunnies, but it's super frustrating as a gardener when you're just trying to fight with them. And, you know, I wish I could give them a spot where they could eat, you know, some of the plants and they could leave everything else alone. But I don't know that planting something instead would invite them even more into the garden. So it is kind of, yeah, it's very frustrating. But anyway, so I am going to dig these up and I'm going to replace them with some salvia that I purchased. And these are just going to go in my mom's garden. She doesn't have to deal with bunnies or with deer. So I'm going to rehome these. I'm going to give her a few of the ones that I winter sowed, and everything else I'm going to give away. I might put a few in one of my garden beds where these were before, because these actually grew last year. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. This little section here, unfortunately, I think is visited by a lot of bunnies, or maybe they feel super safe over here. And these coneflowers actually survived better in the other bed. So what I want to do is try the green twisters over there. I'll sacrifice a few. And lastly, over here is the other astilbe that I got from Walmart, the bare root, and it's actually throwing also a bud and going to flower. This cage, this cloche, I got from Gardener Supply. Actually, it was a birthday gift from my husband, and all of them, he gave them to me because I fell in love with these. And this one has the extender, so it's nice and big, and I can leave it caged up just for a little longer. I just don't want to risk the bunny eating this one. But yeah, you know, it's very frustrating dealing with rabbits, and I really just want to try and instead see if I, you know, more plants that I can grow that are rabbit resistant. And I don't know, maybe I can make a patch of something that they'll eat and they'll stay sort of eating those plants. So if anybody has any ideas about that, I don't want to spray. I do already spray. They just treat the spray that I put, the bunny and deer spray, like condiment. They'll just still eat it. So I don't know what else to do but to not plant things that they want to eat. And you know, I don't know, maybe I can't grow gladiolus next year. We'll see. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you enjoy seeing my garden tours, please subscribe and hit that like button. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Are you still as if you think I'm not going to see you, like you're a little statue?